The AKWA IBOM State Governor Emmanuel is asking politicians in the state to close ranks and work together for the development of the country. Governor Emmanuel said this at a reception in the state capital, Uyo, which was attended by some governors and other prominent personalities. The event was organized in his honor by the people of Ibibio Nation.
Call it a reception to honor one of their own, Governor Emmanuel. In attendance are governors of Abia, Imo and Ekiti, as well as former governors of the state, royal fathers and other dignitaries. The rally provides an opportunity for the residents to reaffirm their support for the governor.
Today, the entire Ibibio nation has come together to say that by the special grace of God, we are endorsing Gabriel Emmanuel for 8 years.
For some of the governors here, good governance and leadership will always speak for a leader.
We must know when to keep aside political parties and embrace governance. Once a governor emerges, it becomes a governor for all. Governor Ogun. The best way, as political experience speaks and suggests, the best way to silence opposition is to work for the people.
Looking at the sea of heads, people that have come to show solidarity and love for your leader and chief servant, I can only but say that it is of the Lord. Because it is difficult for fellow human beings to recognize the good works of one another.
I will be here again to raise up his hands as the chairman of this forum. But today, victory will not elude you.
In appreciation, the governor asked politicians to continue to support his government as he strives to take the state to greater heights.
I call on every well-meaning indigene of this state, let's eschew politics that emphasize violence, rancor, and division. Let's eschew that bitterness that makes us every now and then, we will always point one another black.
2019 is the year for the next governorship elections in the state. The date may appear far, but for the people of Akwa Ibom State, it's better to be prepared now.
Every year, July the 11th is set aside to commemorate the World Population Day, which seeks to focus attention on the urgency and importance of population issues. Since the year 1990, the United Nations General Assembly decided it will continue to observe World Population Day to increase awareness of population issues, including their relation to the environment and global development. Here in Nigeria, the authorities are asking families to embrace various options open to them to reduce infant and maternal mortality. In Kaduna State, Governor Nasir El-Rufai urges women to consider child spacing, while the men were asked to support the health and well-being of their wives. Around the world, it's reported that about 225 million women who want to avoid pregnancy are not using safe and effective family planning methods for reasons ranging from lack of access to information or services to lack of support from their partners or communities. Most of these women with an unmet demand for contraceptives are set to live in 69 of the poorest countries in the world.
The World Population Day offers us an opportunity to reflect on our population dynamics in relation to our policy interventions to secure better life and quality of life for our people. The theme of the 2017 Population Day, Family Planning, Empowering People, Developing Nations, calls us to invest in health and the rights of women and couples in our state for economic and other gains that are critical for attaining the Sustainable Development Agenda. We are encouraging education of the girl child, reducing the out-of-school population. Our plan is to put every boy and girl in Kaduna to complete their schooling to earn a living and escape the trap of poverty. We are sponsoring the training abroad of 30 female medical students. We are extending the scheme to Cuba, where we shall be sending 30 young people from this year until 2019.
Well, there's also a need to raise more awareness against kidnapping, rape, drug abuse and other vices which have been on the increase recently. Against this backdrop, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has flagged off a seminar on security for schools in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria. The Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abdullahi Mohamadu, represented by his assistant, Mr. Wahid Wukwala, notes that the issue of kidnapping must be dealt with through the right legislation and cooperation among stakeholders.
The seminar brought together students and teachers from various schools, parents, security operatives and opinion leaders. The Assistant Commandant General, Wahid Wukwala, says the mission is to find ways to tackle insecurity in schools to prevent new cases.
But we need to be proactive. We don't want such a thing to occur in our schools or in our environment. So when you talk of security, it's not one man's business or a particular agency or those in uniform alone. Those of us that are civilians, we do much work by providing information.
Mrs. Nike Agbaji, the Director of Education Support Services in the state, calls for a more inclusive approach in curbing the problems.
Partnership is indispensable in curbing security challenges. While the citizens are expected to be patriotic, vigilant, and proactive, the government needed to provide an enabling and bedlam-free environment for peaceful coexistence of all these funders.
Meanwhile, the representative of the All Nigeria Conference of Principals of Secondary Schools in Abeokuta South, Mrs. KEMI OLOKODE, says renewed family and societal value systems need to be put in place.
We find out that 70% of the students are students from broken homes. Ask them, when they offend, go and bring your parents, that's when you come into trouble. Father is in Kafancha, mother is in Ekpe. So the child is left alone, meandering and doing what he likes.
Beyond this seminar, participants say security operatives must be more committed to the cause to ensure the problem is totally wiped out.
Well, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, have stormed two hideouts of drug gangs in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State. The state commander of the NDLEA, Mr. Sule Momodu, says that all those arrested will be prosecuted and warns those involved in the business to relocate or be ready to be apprehended.
The essence of the raid that you witnessed today, which we started since last week, is to send a strong signal to those who are selling illicit drug in Obosi particular, that it's not going to be business as usual. We want them to stop it. And until they stop it, we will continue to come to Obosi. It's a continuous raid, it's a continuous exercise. We will continue to hit Obosi until they are prepared to give it up. And on the issue, you know, they have these places they sit down and do these activities. My men have my authority to destroy such shanties, and we will continue to destroy them so that they don't have a place to stay to do this, their illegal act.